Hello, everybody, and welcome again to a Power of Care Talks. What is the power of care? Well, the power of care means that if you care about something, it should show. It should show in the choices that you make, the attitude you project, the relationship you cultivate, and the effort that you exert. So if you care about something, it should show. And today, I have the pleasure of speaking to somebody who truly cares about children's literacy, and he is Greif, who is the National Executive Director of Everybody Wins USA, which is a national children's literacy and mentoring nonprofit. Now, the great thing about Everybody Wins is that they provide weekly one-on-one reading experiences called Power Lunch, where you take an adult volunteer and a student, you put them together, and they really bond and have a mentoring experience over literature and increasing the child's literacy skills. But not only that, Rich brings with him 20 years of experience in marketing and communications, and so we're going to tap into that skill set too today. Thank you very much for being with me today, Rich.
Thank you, Nadine, for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, tell me a little bit more about Everybody Wins, because I'm definitely a big fan of anything that works with children and combines children and reading.
Sure. Well, Everybody Wins was originally started almost 20 years ago by a man named Arthur Tannenbaum and his wife Phyllis, who was a school teacher in New York. And they really had the simple concept. They knew how important reading aloud is to children, both to their early literacy skills and their development. And they had the very simple idea of going over to a local school and reading one-on-one with a child during the child's lunch hour. And so they tried it out over the course of a school year, and not surprisingly, they were getting great feedback from the teachers in terms of the students' enthusiasm for books and reading, their vocabulary, their comprehension. And so it worked out so well after really just Arthur and about 4 or 5 of his coworkers doing it that he decided to take early retirement and found Everybody Wins in New York back in 1991. And the program is really very much the same simple one-on-one lunchtime reading program between an adult and a child, where the focus is purely just on reading books aloud for fun and getting kids excited about reading and talking about books, and also doing it in the context of a one-on-one mentoring relationship, which is also so critical for kids, especially nowadays.
Definitely, because I think that so much of literacy and the children's ability to read and comprehend is going to impact the rest of their academic experience, because it all starts so much. The foundation is reading and comprehension. If you don't have that skill set, then it's going to impact science and math and social studies and history, et cetera, et cetera. So it's definitely, I think, an incredibly powerful nonprofit and effort that is going on. And I think with the Everybody Wins, yes, the kids win, but the adults win too, because I think that they get a lot out of it as much as the children do.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think almost every volunteer in our program would tell you that they feel that they get just as much out of it, that it's their favorite hour of the week. It's really what got me personally involved in this program. I started out as a Power Lunch reading mentor myself back in 1998. I read for 4 years with the same student, Jamal, and in fact, we have stayed in touch over the years. He just graduated high school this past spring and just got a scholarship to go to the University of New Hampshire. And really, for as much as the program obviously did for him in terms of getting him excited about reading, and obviously our friendship has endured, really it made me both a better parent when I became a parent. Reading just became very ingrained in our household. And it certainly made me a stronger advocate for education, and really see that there is something meaningful that you can do, each person can do for just that 1 hour a week.
And so these power lunches, we saw a few of the images of past power lunches with the mentors and the kids. What are some of the other things that you can do, or so that, as your name says, that everybody wins? What are ways that adults who want to participate in your program can win through their participation?
Sure. Well, most people tend to volunteer in Power Lunch, typically through their company or their organization. So certainly volunteering directly in Power Lunch through a local Everybody Wins affiliate. There are lots of other ways to get involved, though. There's being a local board member. There are regular fundraising events and activities to help support the organization. There are obviously, financial resources are critical to our programs, making donations or even in-kind donations of books, other services. There are so many ways that, an organization like us really needs to sustain to be able to thrive and serve more kids. So whether it's volunteering, donating, being a local board member, being part of some local fundraising activity.
And how many states are you in now?
We're currently in 13 states and Washington, D.C., which is also one of our largest programs. Combined, our programs are serving close to 12,000 children in 175 elementary schools. And right now our goal nationally is to really double the number of sites that are operating our Power Lunch program. As I'm sure you can imagine, there's tremendous needs around getting kids reading proficiently by 3rd grade, as well as obviously the needs for kids to be mentored. So, there's literally tens of thousands of kids that are waiting for, a Power Lunch mentor, someone that will just show up at the school and read to them once a week. So we're serving lots of kids, but we certainly want to eventually double the amount of kids that we're serving.
Definitely. And I think that when you're talking about getting the word out and how nonprofits really need to utilize the different resources that they have to bring more human and financial and other resources to that organization, this is where I think that, Everybody Wins very much excels, and you guys should be commended for this because, I joke with you beforehand, you and I, we've connected on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, and so forth. You guys are really have taken advantage of the variety of social media that's out there. Why is it so important to your organization?
Sure. Well, social media really has just been a tremendous way for us not only to get the word out, about our program and to really sort of position us as a leading advocate for children's literacy and mentoring, but it's really helped us do a couple things. It's helped us engage our current supporters, board members, alumni, our corporate partners. It's really helped us engage more closely with them and help spread the word together. So it's really deepened those relationships. It's even helped us reconnect with alumni and other supporters around the country. And it's also, at the same time, really just sort of helped open up the door to a whole segment of people that otherwise would not find out about us. I mean, to be honest, most of the people that are following us on Facebook and Twitter, for example, are not people that previously had heard of Everybody Wins or may not even be in a location where we currently have an Everybody Wins affiliate. So it's really helped by positioning us as a leading children's literacy and mentoring organization has really both deepened our engagement with our current supporters and really helped open the door to some greater visibility and partnerships with organizations and individuals that had no idea who we were before.
And what have you found has been the most effective strategy that you have used, that your organization has used?
Well, I think there's a couple things. I mean, one, I think it's really important for us, we want to be seen as really a leading advocate for children's literacy and mentoring. So the information that we're sharing and putting out there isn't just about Everybody Wins. We're really about the cause of children's literacy and mentoring. And so, we're really trying to engage more people in that particular issue. And that's really kind of the centerpiece of what we do on social media, is make the issue and the cause really the focus. And certainly from time to time there's particular news about us, but we want to get and excite people about, children's literacy, books, mentoring, all the issues that are connected to what we do. And by making that the focus, I think it really deepens our engagement, because I think if you only put out news about yourself or toot your own horn, there's only so much you can say about yourself on a daily basis, and B, I think you're not really engaging people in your cause in particular, and that's really ultimately what we want to do, is build support for our issue and cause overall, and then find ways to get people directly engaged with us.
I think it speaks so much to what a lot of businesses and nonprofits, they make the mistake. They engage in social media and they're having a monologue. It's kind of like what I say to my son when he, doesn't want me to talk about what he's talking about. It's like, honey, it's about a dialogue. It's not about a monologue. And that, we really, when we're sending these messages out, we have to remember to have a conversation with our network and the people that we're sending these messages to, and so we're listening as much as we are, communicating our story. So like you said, it's not just talking about ourselves all the time, but having more conversations.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd say probably less than 10% of the content, that we're putting out and sharing is directly about Everybody Wins. It's, as you said, fostering a dialogue. Just today I put out a question about, there's a new documentary coming out about the education system called Waiting for Superman. We want to engage people. Is that something that they're going to be watching and following? What do people think about that particular movie? Does that tie into what Everybody Wins does? Sure. Is it directly about us? No. But, it's engaging people in our issue, and I think more closely connecting with them. Because as you know, there's so much being churned out there, and I think if people don't get a sense that you're really passionate about your particular issue and cause, and that you're really a solid information source to turn to, it's just far too easy for people to turn away from you and go on to something else. We only all have so many things we can pay attention to on a daily basis, and so, slowly but surely over time, we've built our following really by focusing on, the core issues of children's literacy, education, and mentoring, and we want to be seen as one of those leading advocates. And by doing that, we've really done a lot of partnering with other national literacy and mentoring organizations. We want to feature the great work that they're doing, and in turn that has led to some great partnerships between some of our organizations, both within our network and other national organizations. So, by doing that, we get as much back often as we put out in terms of really trying to get people more committed to our particular cause and then finding ways for them to engage in it.
Now, what advice would you give to other nonprofit organizations, about growing their brand awareness by using social media?
Sure. Well, I think it's really, about picking a particular focus. It's hard to do everything. You can't be in all places, but one of the things now is you can really connect a lot of your social media tools together. So, I think you've really got to be, if you're going to get into it, I think you've got to really be committed to it. I see too many organizations that kind of do it either half-heartedly or don't post very frequently. I think you've got to really either be committed to it, focus on your particular issue or cause, and really engage your supporters. I sort of look at it as step one is get your current supporters engaged with you on social media, get them talking about you and spreading the word, and then at the same time, start to position yourself as the leading advocate or leading whatever for your particular issue or cause, and really build from there.
Yeah, and you talked about, how so many things are integrated now. I've had that experience where sometimes I forget that I've integrated things and I repeat the same message on more than one platform, and then I look at it and I realize, oh, well, don't you remember that your LinkedIn is linked with your Facebook, is linked with your blog, and so you've sent it out 2 times. So it can be a little bit overwhelming at times, but if you utilize the tools that are available to you, then sending out one message, and if you've linked them all together, it sends them off to all the different platforms. But like me, you have to remember that you've done that so that you don't repeat yourself.
Yeah, it definitely has become a lot trickier. I think where we've gotten back to as we just relaunched our website is that ultimately, one of the measurements for us is, are we increasing the number of people learning more about us directly? And over time, our website hits are probably up about 50% from where they were about a year or 2 ago. And ultimately, it's really about getting people involved with us and making sure that they know the different ways that they can get engaged with us. So as much as it's great to have a conversation with people on social media, ultimately for us as a nonprofit, we want to find ways to get them either engaged with us nationally or engaged with some of our local chapters around the country. And so for us, it really all comes back to getting them back to our website and getting them, people directly engaged. So we've seen our online inquiries go up for people that want to volunteer or be a board member. At the end of the day, it's great to have a conversation about your issue or cause, but ultimately it's about engaging people in your mission and getting them to get involved in some particular capacity.
Right. I think for a lot of nonprofits, it falls down to, the ask. And a lot of times people think in terms of the ask as, asking for a financial contribution. And yes, that's part of it in terms of fundraising. But whatever your communication, you have to have that ask, that call to action that gets people investing in some way in your nonprofit through either, yes, financial, but also through things like volunteering and leveraging their resources with yours, etc. So definitely the conversation is important, but then also the ask of what it is that you want them to join you in.
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately, and there are other ways, especially now with social media, where sometimes the ask is to help spread the word online about something that you're trying to promote. If you've got that's why ultimately what we look at is, it doesn't matter how many thousands of followers you have. What's really critical, the number of people that are really committed to you and following you closely, because those are the people that are going to help spread the word for you, whether it's about a campaign that you're doing or a particular fundraising event or activity. And so you need literally, hundreds of people, if not more, that are willing to spread the word for you, that are sort of your real online advocates, if you will. And so, knowing who those people are, engaging with them, thanking them, finding ways to recognize them, is just as important. You can't really abandon any of the typical customer service principles. You probably know who your best advocates and supporters are online. It's just as important to thank them, help spread information and news about them, and really make it a two-way conversation and make it so that they're benefiting as much from their engagement with you as you are from them.
Definitely. It's just because it's online or it's through technology does not mean that the hard, fast rules of relationship building go out the window. And in fact, in some respects, I think that the relationship building becomes that much more important because there are some of these people who you never actually see face to face. And so how do you build those relationships with people that you don't, you're not in a room with? You have to get creative in this social network and the social environment that's happening online on how you still maintain and retain those relationships.
It is. It's definitely become challenging, and I think, that's why if you're committed to it, I think you start to get a sense of who are the people that are more closely following you, what are they about, and it's just like any customer service principle, it's important to ask them, how do they want to be recognized? Is it sharing information about their business or something that they're doing? Not everybody wants to be recognized in the same way, just like donors to your organization don't all want to be recognized the same way. But I think if you pay close enough attention, you'll really see who are your strongest advocates. I mean, even when people comment, and we're fortunate that we don't really get a lot of negative comments, but even when people do take the time to comment, that means that there's a level of engagement there. And you really want to both recognize that and engage and excite people, in what you're doing, because that means they're, and all the million things that they could be doing during the day, they're taking the time to engage in your particular issue and your particular organization. So really developing good relationships with those people and really monitoring those is just as critical as your own donors.
Yep, make the effort to recognize their effort. Well, thank you very much, Rich. I really appreciate you being with me here today. And for those of you who are listening and watching this, if you want more information about Everybody Wins, I'm serious. They are everywhere. You can follow them on Facebook. You can connect with them on LinkedIn. You can tweet with them and about them. And check out their website at everybodywins.org. Thank you very much, Rich.
Thank you, Nadine. I really appreciate it.
And if you're listening or watching this on another channel, please visit us on the Power of Care blog. That is powerofcare.com. And if you care about something, I hope it shows. Have a good day.